Well, for the final time today, we will be managing FC Copenhagen for a full episode, and it could be a pretty big and historic one as well. Despite our good career so far, there was a lack of trophies at Willem too, but here we've got a chance at a domestic double, and against Midtjylland and Nordsjaelland, it could be two trophies wrapped up in two games. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 35 of the Coach's Head with me, Daniel. We are back today to face FC Midtjylland, needing just 1 point to win the title before we face Nordsjaelland in a Danish Cup final. And despite the fact we've been struggling since January, we've not been scoring goals with regularity, especially since the exodus of stars in the winter window. We are just creeping over the line, and today we could make it two trophies in two games. If you're looking forward to seeing if we do, then please do chuck a thumbs up on it before the next episode becomes a big job search as we look for a move to a league that doesn't have B teams so we can actually get a working and functioning director of football. Very quickly though, before we go and get into the two games today and the chance to win two trophies, we need to have a quick look at the schedule because we did have one game in between off camera and it looks like this season could be wrapped up with 4 games to go. We played that match against Nordsjaelland, and thanks to two very late first half goals from two fullbacks in Joe May, who was covering in midfield, and Corey Fernandez, with I think his first for the club. It was indeed his first goal since joining. We managed to get ourselves a win in a dress rehearsal for the cup final and put ourselves within a point of the title because we are 14 points clear with 15 to play for, and our opponents today are Midtjylland. So if we draw, that gap stays 14 points with 12 to play for and we'll become champions. It's been a very good year, probably up until the end of January, and then it's all started to go a bit wrong. But for now, we're going to focus on getting over the line. We're not scoring goals regularly. We're not looking great, but we're doing enough. And the last performance was a little bit better. So let's see if we can replicate that today against FC Midtjylland, who were the champions last year, but have been pretty average in truth. 2 points a game. I want to see how many points they got last year, see if they've fallen off at all. So last year they got 68. So fair enough, we're probably going to do a bit better than that. But it's unlikely they're going to get 13 points out of 15 here. So they've dropped off as well. Not ideal for the league. Let's have a look at the team selection, the opposition instructions. Joe up front, Biscoff, Knudsen are three that have caused us trouble before. Daniel Everson is still in goal, the experienced man. But what on earth have we got to work with? Because we've rotated a bit at times in recent games. You can see Romeo and Suarez at the bottom there, still both injured at the moment. Jakobsen is one who will probably come back in. And Lund Jensen is one that may have to drop out. And that does leave us with a little bit of a concern. Do I move Gallego over and then put in Winter? Do I maybe accept that the roles aren't going to be what we want and just put them both as central defenders? Seems to be the way to do it here. I think the rest of the team pretty much picks itself, albeit I would be tempted up front to go for one of the younger strikers, but I'll chuck Jakobsen on the bench instead of Jensen. We've still got Gunnar and Jan Markussen there, who is developing really nicely as a central defender. And that means that this is our 11 in full today, the strongest we've got available for sure, but you could say perhaps not anywhere near as strong as we thought we'd have when we joined the club in the summer, having lost 5 or 6 star players, all of the left backs, the star striker, etc. With the injuries and suspensions as well. Doesn't look particularly good. So this is the 11 in full. It is Juve in goal with Gendry and Fernandez the fullbacks. Gallego joined by Winther a centre half. Umut Tahumchu is in the holding role with Bruno and Hoyland, the only 3 that have been fit for most of the last 2 months, with May, Gonzalo and Goodmanson the front 3. Joe May really starting to grow in that winger role. He's going to have to because he's the only one available for now. But will he be able to deliver the goods? We're desperately missing the goals of Suarez. It looks like he might be fit enough for the bench on Thursday night. That's when bizarrely the cup final is. But for now, will Juve stay in good form? And will we be able to find a way to score goals? Let's go and get the answer. A home to Midtjylland, a draw required for the title. Well, here we go. The only change for Midtjylland and Bo Hendrickson's side is dropping out John Hervenhoff, who, as we know from the original head coach series, became a bit of a superstar. So surprised by that. If they've got another striker better, then they should be doing better than they are. Because both of those, let me tell you this, Hermanhoff would be starting for us, I can assure you. Let's tell the lads to pick up where they left off because they played well in the last game, but we need them to deliver consistently. And goals, they just don't look like coming. Without Suarez, without Schmidt, there isn't really a threat. Gonzalo's got the odd good game in him. Højlund is great when he's got stars around him. And Goodmanson up front. To be honest, from the start, he's been pretty useless. So let's get into this. You can see the visitors playing very defensively. 7 behind the ball and just the front three at it. But we're not far off the same. Only Højlund really joins in. With 5 gone, no shots on target for either. And a quiet start. Yet again, this has been the problem the second half of the year, I think. It's just become low scoring and dull without Schmidt. And that's made it a bit more difficult. When you're just grinding out 1-0s, 2-1s, 1-1 draws, doesn't quite feel the same. A quarter gone, still no shots on target. But let's be honest, a draw wins us the league. Happy days, and we move on. Well, 1 minute of stoppage time, and we have got to half-time with no highlights at all. Now, look, in normal circumstances, I'd be saying this isn't good enough, but we haven't had a shot on target against us, and if that remains the case at the end, barring a ridiculous own goal, we will be champions, and that is all that really matters here. We've got a goal kick for Midtjylland as we're finally going to see a bit of the game. Long ball forward, which Goodmanson is the last man back defensively to win. May gives it away straight away though, and I don't think the title win was going to be that easy as Francolino hits the post. It's a good bit of fortune for us. We needed it as well because we got carved open and now Gonzalo's picked up a knock. With the greatest of respect to this game, we have got 4 more chances to win the league after, and we will win it because Midtjylland, even if they beat us here, they won't win every match. However, we're only got 1 chance to win the final on Thursday. So Gonzalo, no risk taken. On comes Elias Ashuri, who has not been great the second half of this year. Do I make any other ones early? I don't think so. Look, the rest of the bench, you can see it there. Actually, I'm just looking, bar the sub-keeper. The rest of the bench is all under 21, isn't it? We've got Gunal, who was signed for the youth team last year. Lewis in January, the same. And then the rest of them are all academy players. So Achuri was the only senior sub. Maybe explains why we're not scoring as many late goals. As Gendry has a free kick at right back to Winther. And it's into Bruno in the middle. Back to Gallego. Space to run into. Bruno takes it. And Elias Achuri gets a good first touch. Wide to Fernandez. Back to Achuri again. He might produce the heroics now. Elias Achuri has been awful for a long time. But that is a brilliant bit of play. It's a very good save as well. It's behind for a corner kick. Maybe if I'm being critical, he didn't need to carry it quite so close, but didn't trust his finish as Goodmanson does win the header. It's over the bar. No danger to the opposition goal. With an hour gone, it remains 0-0, but we have been a better side. And Midtjylland, bar that 1 shot off the post, have offered nothing. I'm not going to make changes yet. I keep thinking about it, but I want to leave it as late as possible because the squad is only going to get weaker. And now as we approach the final 15, I think we will do it for the sake of fitness. We've got Joe May on the right wing struggling. Could bring on Georgievski, the youngster, and in fact I probably will. Or do I mean, I don't want to make it weaker. That's the problem. Goodmanson will come off for Jakobsen. He's the same quality anyway. Højlund is struggling physically, and I think for him we can bring on Nick Lewis because he's good in the holding role, albeit not in that position, but we can just put him on as a sort of defensive mid. And then we can push Shoot into the midfield. Him and Bruno is a really good combo. And I think we'll leave it at those 3 for now. Then maybe bring on a couple of the youngsters later. But what that does is give us a more solid base and give us the quality. Fernandez is struggling at left back, so it's going to have to be Gunal. Not a sub I wanted to make. And then on the right wing now, it will be Georgievski. Joe May is running on empty. Hadn't had a good game. Will this youth team hold on? You can see Midtjylland are offering nothing. But we've got a cup final in 5 days, and it would be lovely to have the league wrapped up in the most boring and unfashionable style you can imagine. But a 0-0 draw at home to FC Midtjylland has given us the Danish Superliga title. It's been the story of the second half of the season, dominating games without scoring, not having a real goal threat without Suarez who's injured and Schmidt who was sold on deadline day. But we've got over the line. We've done the job. We came here to regain the Superliga title and we've done it. And we'll very much be off in the summer because this squad is only going to get worse. The B team issue is very much frustrating. But Yevan Diouf lifts the title and we have got the trophy in the bag. We've won a big Superliga and hopefully that will lead us to a good job in the summer. Now we've got to go on and make it 2 in 2 games. We'll have to find a way to score if we want to do that though. Let's get through the dressing room. Let's say well done to the lads. They've done the job. It wasn't particularly entertaining or enthralling. But on Thursday night, we've got another chance in a cup final. Nordsjaelland away. We'll be back in a minute to face them. Well, we've reached Thursday night and we've reached the cup final, and now I've got some big decisions to make because Suarez apparently has 45 minutes in him, but if there's one game worth risking him for, is it this one? What do we do with Gonzalo, who's only just fit? And do we bring Lund Jensen back in? Romeo's not fit. It's a bit of a shame, really. He would have been useful today. But let's go and have a look at the fixtures. Jakobsen is improving off the pitch. Might even need to put him up front. I really don't know what to do. Let's have a look at the team we're coming up against. Fox Anderson of Nordsjaelland, one of the best young strikers in Europe. 18 for finishing, electric quick. What I would give to have a striker of that quality. They've basically got a Nicholas Schmidt up front. We haven't got anyone of that sort. The rest of their team is pretty good without being spectacular, and they have underachieved this year. We're being recommended to put in a youth team, which I don't know what our assistant's doing. Probably smoking whatever the director of football is, in truth. But Corey Fernandez is injured, so Ganau will have to play at left back. Then Jensen will be back in the squad, and I think back in the 11. Winther of 5'10" is a liability, so we'll just get those two in alongside. I might even put him back as the ball winner because he's done okay this season, but I don't think it makes too much of a difference. We're also going to go in midfield, potentially for Suarez. Now, Goodmanson has not scored in his last 5 games. He's doing really well off the pitch, but he's not showing any sign of progression. I'm going to warn him and criticise him about his recent form in the hope that it works, because generally that little individual chat does do the trick. And then we'll leave Suarez on the bench, so if we need to get a goal late on, we can chuck him on instead. I might drop out Jimmy Jensen because I feel he's the less good of the 2 sub-strikers that are younger. Or I could drop out Georgievski because we've obviously got options out wide now. Don't really know who the best of them 2 is. I think we'll go Suarez for Jensen. We don't need 3 strikers on the bench. And this is now the squad that we've gone for. So not really many changes from the weekend fixture. Only in defensive areas, which is the change at left back for Ganau, enforced to come in for Fernandez, and Lund Jensen, who comes back in for Winther. But otherwise, the front 6 is the same, and hopefully it won't draw another blank. Suarez is on the bench to save us if we need it. He's the only man who scored with regularity this year. So hopefully tonight, the little chat with Goodmanson works, and Luis Suarez can come off the bench and be the hero. Well, as we go into this cup final, you may be wondering what I've tried tactically. At times, I've done working the ball into the box. At times, I've done the opposite. But this time, my worry is that I don't know that we keep a clean sheet because Anderson is quicker than our defence. He's got more ability than our defence. And he's probably the best player on the pitch, in truth, maybe aside from Højlund on paper. And with us not having Suarez back in, not having that focal point, I do worry. We're going to ask the lads to prove a point, show that they're winners. I am going to change it quickly to my preferred back post corner technique. We'll give it a go for this game because that may be the difference. So I'll set that up. We'll be back in a minute for the first half. Well, bar Suarez and Achuri, we've got a very youthful bench, so I'll be hoping we don't need it. But as you can see from the stats, the first shot on target of the game is Nordsjaelland, and they've got that one bit of stardust up front. We've got a good defensive record. It could end up being a bit of a stalemate. But here's the corner. Oh, they've gone near post again. Maybe they're so used to it, they can't actually get it to the far post. It's Siumchu. Back to the edge for Bruno. Thought about going for it, but the header was won by the opposition. Out to Ganau at left back. Could be an unlikely hero. Mehmet Ganau goes for the shot. Good save by Maynard Brewer in goal. You argue he could flash that across the box, but who's there to tap it in truth? He's done the right thing. And Siumchu's got the corner. That's a better delivery. Closer to the back post, but there's no one there. As Gonzalo away as far as Bruno. On the left-hand side, forced back, and now loses it. It just sort of peters out. You can see again, we risked Gonzalo with that bruise last time. He's picked up another little knock here. It's only another bruise. It shouldn't be serious. But maybe he's the man we'll end up having to sacrifice for Suarez, which is not really part of the script at all. 10 to the break, we're starting to get on top. But I asked the same question as the last game. Where on earth do the goals come from? We're 0-0 at half-time, and in truth, neither side has really shown a goal threat. Ours is a continuing problem. I'm going to say Goodmanson. I'm not happy. I want to try something to rile him up, but he just doesn't react. I miss Nicholas Schmidt so much, as Ganau's got a throw on the left to Bruno. You know what's going to happen. He'll be the hero now as the cross is in towards May. Headed away as far as Gendry. Is he brought down? Oh, I was going to say a penalty would be a bonus, but Tiumchu's missed 2 out of 4. I'm not confident. He's got a 50% record. Oh, no, it's Goodmanson. You're joking. He's put it in the top corner. All is forgiven, Steindor Goodmanson. Why you were taking a penalty with Tiumchu on, I don't know. But I'll forgive you because you've put it in a corner. You've ended the goal drought. And I'll say this for him. He scored big goals when it mattered. Away at Rennes in that Europa League tie to give us a chance. And this one is absolutely crucial. Now, can we keep the clean sheet with a quality striker at the other end? They're straight on the attack as I would say, fouled his man. Then he fouled his own player. That's getting into Anderson. That's offside, referee. Gotta be offside. The flag goes up. What is Tiumchu doing? He fouled their man, got away with it, then fouled his own player in possession. Almost cost us the final. Anderson got his first sniff. He put it away well, but he didn't quite hold his line. And with an hour gone, I'm becoming concerned because Gonzalo's not having a good game. He's tired. He's got that knock. I know it's a big risk, but I think I'm going to have to take him off for Luis Suarez. He'll get 25 minutes on the pitch. He gives us a star penalty taker if we need another one. But I've got to gamble him in this game. There's no point in being fit for the next 4 if we lose the cup final. You're looking at the tired legs around and there might be other changes soon too. I'm not going to make many at this point. We'll make them late on if we have to waste time. As first we've got to throw on the right with Gendry. Can we get that elusive second goal? We've not been able to do it often in recent months. But Bruno's got the ball in the middle and a space over on the left. Bruno goes back though to Lund Jensen. And then to Umut, who carries it forward. Oh, he's lost it again. He's not had a great game here. As Suarez turns on it. We've been missing him. Gets the shot away. But his first thought is, can I get a shot on goal? And that's something we've missed as Bruno picks it up again. Works down the left. There's options in the middle. Crosses to the back post. Højlund's up. He's not scored for a while either. That one's over the bar. 10 to go. May struggling. Højlund struggling. Gendry struggling. I've got no subs to bring on for them though. So we stick with it for now as Ganal throws into Bruno. Back to Tiumchu. Keeps possession this time. Lund Jensen carries it forward. Unopposed out to May. Good touch. Good chance to shoot. And does, but puts it over. How many more are we going to miss? Seriously. Gallego picks the ball up and he goes wide to May. We're playing really well at the end of this game actually. But means nothing if we're 1-0 down and then give away a late chance. As Joe May inside towards Bruno. Would love a long range strike here, but he goes wide to Ganal. We know he can put a cross in. That's a good one to Joe May. Up to Goodmanson. Should have scored again. Puts it over the bar. We're into stoppage time. There's only 3 minutes of it. And you're going to have to forgive me. We're going to start time wasting here. Defensive wing backs. In fact, defensive fullbacks. We're not going to push them forward at all. We're also going to go for a support duty for Højlund. Maybe even a deep lying role. Don't need to push him forward either. Those two will do as they are. We're going to put Suarez. We'll leave him actually. He's okay. I just want to get that team pretty sorted. So on the right, we're going to take off Joe May for Achori. Bit of experience there. Nick Lewis will replace Højlund with Tiumchu going further forwards. Ganal at left back could do with coming off, but there's no one there. I mean, I could make a different change. What I could do, it messes with the back 4 a bit, but Winther is a little quicker, which might help us out with Anderson. I'm going to put Gendry off, Lewis out to right back, Winther on, and then Gallego into holding midfield. Gives us like a proper anchor man in there. We can just drop him. Maybe even defensive mid on defend. That's fine. And then up front, I'll take off Goodmanson as well for Jakobsen. In fact, you know what I'll do? I'll continue here. Then once those changes are made, I'll make the other one as well. So now Goodmanson off for Jakobsen. Let's see out the time. The time wasting is very much on as well. And with 3 minutes of stoppage time played, it's another ugly win. But a 1-0 victory against Nordsjaelland. A Goodmanson penalty, as Lord knows we didn't look like scoring from open play, has given us a domestic double. To be honest with you, this second half of the season, it's been a real chore. A real chore at this football club. Lund Jensen is back in to pick up the trophy today. And Copenhagen get a domestic double. We've done the job in the ugliest possible style. The director of football has contributed a fair bit to that by selling superstars. But now we can look at the job centre, think about moving on to a new club. Not sure what dance Winther's doing there. The domestic double is wrapped up for Copenhagen. and not in the most exciting style, but it's job done, and that's all that matters. Well, there we go. We've done the double. The board are delighted. The fans are delighted. Our club vision, well, we're up to a B. Delighted is a strong word there. That failure in the Champions League still coming back to haunt us. But the job now, with 4 games to go, is to have a look at the job centre. Can we start preparing for where we want to be next year? There's a few rules here. And I know I asked you in the last episode to let me know where you'd like us to be. And obviously in the next episode, we'll see what's available. But there are 2 rules for me. Firstly, do not go to a league with B teams, because we've seen that is what is ruining the director of football this year. When we've been in other leagues, it's been absolutely fine. But in Germany and the head coach, and here in this save, both of them have official B teams playing in lower leagues, and it is really causing chaos. So we're going to avoid that, and we'll be able to see if that's the common denominator then. We also want to avoid England, and we want to avoid some of the smaller nations that we perhaps wouldn't be managing in real life if this were the circumstance. And there's a couple of jobs on this screen that are sort of calling out to me. I'm having a look at one. I've mentioned big teams in nations that are slightly off the top 5 leagues, or one of the top 5 leagues at a middling club. Now, there's 2 options here that I can see, one that fits each. We'll obviously apply and see if we get any offers, because it's not a given that we're going to get jobs of that stature. But I'd like to know in the comments which you would choose if you were in this circumstance and we do get both offers. So the first one is Trabzonspor, a pretty big club in Turkey, but obviously there's some superstar opposition in that nation. They're at the moment 7th, which I think, will make them miss out on Europe, though they might sneak that 6th spot, could have the Europa Conference League qualifying. They're a side that have got good young players coming through. Turkish football always does. They've got a couple of familiar names, Zakarian, someone we had with Brighton in FM24, and a couple of others that are about to retire, so Enes Ünal being one of them. But some good names in there, some players you'll recognise, and a good league, but maybe not one of the top 5 in Europe. Then on the flip side of that, from one of the top 5 leagues, we've got Torino in Serie A, but they're a side that have been in the bottom half, managed by an interim for half of the season, and bizarrely only have 5,000 season ticket holders despite a 28,000 capacity. That seems a little off, but Serie A doesn't have B teams, so it may be a good way to find out whether or not there is a problem in the game, or whether it is just the B team one we found. They've got players like Esposito, Illich, Schlager, good players at Serie A level, but it'd be a challenge to push them up the league. So they're the 2 I'm immediately looking at and wanting to apply for. I'm going to go for Torino, and I'm going to go for Trabzonspor, and I'm probably going to apply for a lot of similar jobs across Europe, either big nations with medium-sized clubs, or some big clubs or sleeping giants in those next tier down of nations, like the Dutch league, like the Danish league, but Turkey would be in that group as well. If we had the choice between those 2 sort of options, or even those 2 clubs, which would you go for? Where would you like to see me next? I want to give it another go, but we've got to avoid nations with the B team problem, because that seems to be having a catastrophic effect on a director of football. Let me know down in the comments what you would do. If you enjoyed this one, well, I'd say enjoying the outcome rather than the performances, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on to see where we end up next, what interviews and what job offers we get. Hopefully this will be our last 4 games at Copenhagen, and I'm not going to bother to show you them because we've won the league already now. Before we worry about that though, there is a huge finish to come in our season at Southend United. Our 15th year is a dramatic one. It's tense in a few competitions, and there's a massive double header coming tomorrow, so make sure you come and join me for that one. The playlist so far is up in the eye above. Just a few days till the EFL season as well. You can find our predictions for all 3 EFL leagues and the National League from the podcast channel up in the eye above. Come and get involved. Give us your predictions in the comments over there too. And we're live on Twitch plenty during August. That link's in the eye above as well. Come and join us over there. Get involved and come and have a chat with us. It's all very laid back and light-hearted. Thank you very much for being here though. Your support is massively appreciated. I'll see you back here in a couple of days' time to find out if we're any closer to a job change.